Hey, Miles Beckler here, milesbeckler.com, and today I've got a guest here with me. This is Ben Smith, also known as Billy Elusive, and Ben's a buddy of mine in New Zealand. Him and his wife run a couple of websites, and Ben specifically kind of manages the funnels and the pay-per-click, right? Kind of a similar situation to what myself and Melanie do, and I figured it would be really valuable to have a conversation with Ben about his Facebook ads, his kind of experience and path to learn the Facebook ecosystem. He just finished up a launch. How long ago was that?
Probably 4 weeks ago now.
So about 4 weeks ago, he finished up a really big launch that was pretty successful?
Yeah.
Crushed it, right? So we're going to learn from his path, learn what he's doing, and give you some value so you can apply this to your Facebook ad campaigns. So Ben, thank you very much for taking your time. I know your time's valuable.
No worries. But first, do I look at you or do I look at people at home or what?
Who knows, man? Yeah.
I feel like I'm really
Oh,
snug.
that's cute. I appreciate that totally. And let's give them, our customer avatar, the attention here, because ultimately the goal of this conversation is to help them get their campaigns going, right? So let's kind of, before we get to what you just did, let's rewind. What was your entrance point to Facebook ads? If you want to go to your entrance point in the internet marketing world, cool. But really, the Facebook ad stuff is kind of the core.
Okay. So we have an online gym where people pay monthly subscription to stream workouts online. And a game changer for us was when we started doing programs live. So that means we would have a launch date.
Gotcha.
And we would do that twice a year. So I was doing Facebook advertising campaigns with a specific launch date in mind, which I guess is a little bit different to Facebook advertising that you're continuously getting leads, you know?
So by launch, you mean you kind of open the cart, everybody comes in by a specific date, the cart closes on a certain date, and you take that group of people through a process. Yes. And the cart's pretty much closed, and then you open it back up at another part in the year, and you repeat the cycle.
Yeah, so in our scenario, it is that this program starts on a specific date, and so people obviously, if they don't start by that date, then they miss out on doing the program.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there are some nuances that make Facebook advertising different when you're doing a launch versus a continuous lead.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's what you want to get into.
Yeah, definitely. And so your first Facebook ad campaigns for this, how did it go? Did you find the interface to be easy to use? Did you make money right away? Was it like a home run out of the park, or was it more trial and error for you?
Definitely was trial and error. Like, I hadn't had much Facebook advertising. I hadn't done much study or taken any courses from doing it. The only way I've really learned is by doing it myself.
Awesome. You just jumped right in and went with it.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah. I am a sort of a numbers guy versus my wife, she's much more creative. So I like the numbers, but I do think that knowing the numbers, seeing the stats, and that if you are that minded, that does help.
So at that point when you jumped in, why Facebook? Why was it like, I have no training, I have no background in this, but I'm all in? Where were you when you made that decision?
It's pretty obvious that, like, especially our audience are on Facebook. They use Facebook all the time, and that naturally is the best way for us to reach them.
Gotcha.
I have noticed too that over the last couple of years that we've been doing this, that the costs are slowly creeping up. So if you can be doing it now, that is good, because the costs are only going to increase. But
get in while the getting's good is what the man just said there. And it's true. I've been noticing the creep as well, and I've been adapting my funnel to where I can continue to advertise within it. And that's kind of the game though, right? Like we adapt, we grow, more people come to the market, we adapt, we grow.
Yeah, totally. Just being wherever your customer is hanging out, eh?
Gotcha. And then I think that's a really good point, is be where your customer is. You know, some people think, like, I need to go create traffic. Oh, there's my air quotes. Some people think, you know, we need to go create traffic, and there's no such thing as creating traffic. What we want to do is find out where are the people who we want to offer things to and serve, and then we get our message in front of them. And like you're saying, 1.5, 1.7 billion people on Facebook. So let's go get our message in front of them there. How long ago was that you embarked on this process and you kind of like signed up and went for it on Facebook?
Probably 2 years
Got it.
ago now. And so now we're at a stage where I would like to spend as much money as I possibly could. The challenge is getting that scale of being able to spend more money, but also reaching the right people
Right.
who are converting.
Right. Not having your numbers go way out of whack by
Yeah,
tripling your budget.
totally.
All right, so let's kind of fast forward into what you just did recently on this newest launch. One really cool thing that I admire that you've been able to figure out is you're essentially using the same structure that you've used in the past, correct?
Yeah, from my point of view, I think it's really important to structure your Facebook campaign in a logical way. So each ad set, for example, targets a specific audience, because in the early days when Facebook first offered the advertising, it was, the interface wasn't that flash, and you had to manually make it so that you would target a specific audience by an ad set, whereas now they promote that fact. So for example, you'd have one campaign and you only want to have that campaign to have one specific agenda, so
Right.
it's a website conversion as the outcome that you want. And then each ad set you create is only targeting one audience, because if you create an ad set that's targeting multiple audiences, then when you go and look at your numbers, you're not going to know which one's working and which one's not.
Right. So you have one campaign that kind of holds everything, and then separate ad sets, each ad set targeting a different audience.
Correct.
And then different ads in each. So when you say an audience, what do you mean? Are you talking like a custom audience based on a retargeting pixel? Are you talking the interests?
So I always set it up where I have a lookalike audience, which is based on either previous customers or your email list of people. I always use an interest audience, people who are interested in that product or service.
Separate from the lookalike audience.
Yep, so that's
Gotcha.
another ad set.
Okay.
Another one will be obviously remarketing, and that remarketing audience is of people who have been to your website, who they know your brand or your service in general.
Right.
And then I would have another ad set that's just targeted to people who have gone to that sales page specifically.
But have not purchased.
Correct.
Right. And on all of those ad sets, are you excluding the other
On each
individuals?
every ad set, I'm excluding customers, current customers, and that's basically it. I have tried subscribers. Yes. So my other ad set is targeting just subscribers, but not customers.
Gotcha. So you have...
So you're itemizing them all out.
And you treat them all separately,
Yep.
and you monitor the stats for each one
Yep.
separately. And so, real quick, just to kind of recap, you have a lookalike audience that is a cold traffic audience. You have an interest-based audience that's a cold traffic audience. You have visitors who you're retargeting who have been to your website. That's a warm traffic audience. You have your email list subscribers. And then you have people who checked out your sales page. And are you running the same ads to all of these people? Do the ads change depending on where they're at? How do you manage that side of things?
So every ad I always set up where you have one video ad, one image ad, and then one carousel ad. But I've gone off carousel ads big time, like they don't work.
Yep. You heard it
Definitely
here.
try that at the start. Yep. And what I find is, because we do the launch process, so we're doing it twice a year. What I've found is that's really interesting is that the first time I do it, it may be that the interest ad set didn't work at all, just didn't work. But I always include it the next time around, because I've found that subsequently 3 months later, that interest audience, for example, it does work.
Yep.
So I think one big thing would be to never assume what's going to work and what isn't. So that's why I definitely start out with 3 ads in an ad set.
Per ad set.
And I like to make them 3 very different ones, like you said. So
carousel, video, image. And then do you split test new text on the image? Is it just one image ad or several image ads, several video ads? How deep do you get on split testing the ad copy and the ad imagery?
I don't go too deep. All I do is focus on which of those 3 modes is working the best.
Gotcha.
Once I've got that, I would turn off those other 2 ads.
Gotcha.
and I would also then maybe start to split test. Like, let's say the video ad was the winner, then I might split test
Perfect.
the copy on that video ad first.
So to rephrase this, just to see if I'm catching it and to make it really clear, so off of each of those ad sets, cold and warm, you have a video ad, an image ad, a carousel ad that are competing with each other for each of those ad sets. So every ad set has 3 types of ads. You see which one performs better, and you start, every time you re-go through this launch process, you start with 3, no matter what the winner was last time. And then you see what wins, and if it's the video ad that wins, you turn off the other ones and begin to split test based on the video ad, and you'll try different headlines and different calls to action.
Yes.
And when you say win, what are you measuring? What is that statistic that you're following that says whether something a winner? Is it a cost per lead? Is it a cost per acquisition? Is it a cost per click? CPM?
Ultimately, it's cost per sale, so cost per conversion.
We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. That was the right answer. This was all a big test to test Ben. But absolutely, like, it only matters about the sale. That's all that actually matters, is are you getting sales? It doesn't matter about your cost per click. It doesn't matter about your cost per lead. It matters about the sale.
Caveat though.
Asterisk.
Because the launch process is nuanced, it's slightly different. At the start, because people know there's a launch date, people don't make the decision and don't pull the trigger until, people are...
The last day.
People procrastinate, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, one thing I really wish Facebook would have is a attribution type score where, because at the start I might be showing all these ads to people, let's say I'm doing a three-week campaign, and so that first week everyone's seeing all the ads and they're thinking in their head, yeah, this is awesome, I'm going to do this, but then they might not do it, might not convert until they hit that, they see that ad in the remarketing ad set. So they with one day to go.
Right.
So if I had turned that whole ad set or those ads off earlier, then I'm going to miss out on them down the track. So just in my scenario with a launch date, I less focus on the actual website conversions in the first week and try and really get as much impressions as I can.
Right.
I focus on the cost per click, getting that down.
In the beginning.
Yep. But then once I get closer to that launch date, then absolutely, then it's all about the cost per conversion.
So to recap what he just said, this is really kind of important here, and it's pretty deep. So he's got these 4 ad sets, we'll call, right? The cold ones and then the warm ones. And as he's marketing to his cold traffic, some of those people are clicking and visiting his website, which means they leave the cold traffic ad set and they're now a part of the retargeting ad set. So it's not, when that person converts as a customer, it's not showing up at the cold traffic ad set that ad created a customer. It shows up in the retargeting ad set. So it's kind of it's not a bug, it's a flaw. It doesn't show you the direct attribution of where that customer originated. So he's willing to be a little bit looser with those numbers at first on the cold traffic, knowing that he's going to be retargeting to them later in the launch process and trusting that all works out. And of course, at the end, like, one thing I totally appreciate, Ben, is you're like an Excel ninja, like you're a numbers guy. Like, this dude's got graphs and charts and tracks his daily numbers. I'm trying to pick up habits from him for sure. And you look at your overall health at the very end, you track meticulously day by day how many sales, then you track launch by launch how you do and compare that.
So it's only through that tracking that I've come to know and trust that I'm going to get the sales
at the end.
So even now, I still have to have the
control yourself.
to spend money up front because the cost per conversion is not there in that first week, but I have to trust that it's going to come out the other side. And
it has been and growing in magnitude each time.
So I think a really big focus is definitely set up that remarketing ad set, target those people who go to that sales page but then leave, so that then, because sometimes I actually only turn on that ad set with a week and a half to go.
Got it.
So then because those ads have more of the copy and are more of a mindset that they've already seen the offer.
Right. And they
So-
wanted
so,
they
hey,
wanted the
now's
offer
time.
enough to
Hey,
click.
don't miss out.
Yep.
This is closing soon.
Right.
This is the first one. The first lot of ads introducing them is here's what is on offer.
Gotcha.
But then with a week to go, the remarketing is they already know what the offer is. Hey,
Right.
don't miss out. Past
This
chance.
thing that you wanted is closing next week. So let's talk about your launch sequence really quickly. I haven't gone into this in the channel much because it's not a method that we use. I also love the fact that you're getting good results from video ads, something I have not been able to do. We've had emails back and forth. He's like, oh, mate, you got to try the video ads. They were crushing it. And I was like, let me see your video. We pretty much replicated their video, and still, in my niche, I wasn't getting that good of results with it. But let's look at, yeah, totally. But it's Facebook. Weird things happen in the world of Facebook. And we don't ask why. We just keep moving forward based on the data.
Yeah.
So your launch process, you start running ads day one, let's say. Is the cart open on day one when you start running the ads?
Mm-hmm.
So from the very first ad date, the cart is open and you're running your ads. How many days is the cart open and how long is your launch sequence?
3 weeks.
So it's a 3-week process. So he opens it up. No ads before the cart opens, or just straight to the go when the cart's open, it's open. So over the course of 3 weeks,
Yep.
the last week you turn on a special retargeting audience and ad set based on people who have visited the checkout page but didn't buy. So they showed intent to purchase by clicking the buy button, but they didn't actually buy. And so you remarket them with a different message than people who visited just the sales page.
That's a great idea. I don't do that, but I
Gotcha.
probably should.
You know, we're all...
I probably should though. You're right. So I only retarget people who've gone to the sales page. So I assume that they're interested just because they've gone to the sales page.
Right.
But I mean, that's going more granular to retarget just on the checkout page,
Right.
but not having checked out.
Right.
But that's a great thing that I could do.
And it's a process, right? Like we're doing the best we can with the time we have allotted and the knowledge we have, and it's an evolution.
Yeah.
At this point, what's the kind of like the small hinge that swings a big door for you? What's one or two things you've learned along the way that has created big results or got you to that kind of excited point to where you're like, yeah, like this is an investment. This isn't spending money. This isn't an expense. Like this is fun. This is...
I would say one is never assume anything with Facebook advertising. Like you will find that one ad will be killing it in one ad set versus the other ad, and in another ad set it'll be the complete opposite, and you've got no rhyme or reason why. But don't overanalyze it. Don't ask questions. Just
Right.
go with it. You know.
Right. So start with a clean slate, start
Yep.
with all of your tools laid out, start with all of your ads, and let the data drive your decisions every time. And anytime you restart a new campaign, lay it all out, do all the prep, don't make assumptions.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You said the optimize for conversions earlier. Did you ever run
Okay.
different ads before?
Okay, so I have tried other campaigns like impressions. I've tried video, video views. One thing, so when I was talking to my Facebook rep, one thing that I learned was really interesting was if you think in terms of how Facebook wants to serve the ads, that'll really help you. Let's say video views, what do you call it? An objective. Yeah, okay, so it's called an objective. If it's a video view, then Facebook knows the people who are out there who like to watch videos and watch a lot of them. So that's all they're going to serve it to. Same with website clicks as the objective. So you might get a whole lot of website clicks, but that's all Facebook is gonna show to, because they have all the data. They know what's what, right?
So what he's kind of saying is, if Facebook knows if someone is they go to Facebook to find something to click off of Facebook and go read, right? Or if they go to Facebook and they just happen to watch a lot of videos, they watch 10, 20, 30, 100% more videos than your average person. And if you have your ad set up as a video ad just to display the video, Facebook's going to show it to those people who watch videos. And those people might not be the people who buy courses, right? So is that kind of the...
Yeah, totally. So that's the beauty of website conversions, I guess, is that Facebook knows that, hey, these people actually take the action that people are wanting, looking at all of the other campaigns that are running in
and all the
Facebook.
websites that the
Yep.
pixel's on. Like
Yep.
Facebook's monitoring my action, your action, everyone's action. And when I go to a website that has the Facebook pixel installed and I buy with my credit card, whether that's in my campaign, in an ad campaign or not, if the Facebook pixel is on that checkout page and that thank you page, Facebook is tallying data saying Miles Beckler purchases stuff online. So when we run optimized for conversion campaigns, it looks through the reader and says, okay, of this audience, who are the people who buy online a lot? And then they'll show our ads to those people who have a higher likelihood of buying, which is why we love the optimized for conversion.
Yeah, totally.
System.
And definitely have it set up so that Facebook's optimizing for the conversion that you want, which is that specific sale.
Right.
So for every sale that's coming in, Facebook's going, ooh, okay, let me analyze these people who have bought already, go and find similar people in your ad set audience and bring more of them through.
Right.
So that would be another big...
Let Facebook do the hard work,
Yeah.
right? They have so much data. They have 1.7 billion users. They have something like 120 data points on each of us. Their tracking pixel is on an insane number of websites out there. So they've got this massive bulk of data out there on your audience. Leverage that.
Ooh, and I've just got another...
Yes, I like it. More.
It is about scaling. So one thing, just as a quick...
He scales different than I do.
Is that I found early on that if I had an ad set that was working, let's say, I'd be like, ooh, big bug eyes going, ooh, let me throw money at this. And so I would just ramp it up, and suddenly everything would just tank big time. And so I was like, man,
It's pretty depressing when that happens,
so
isn't it?
I learned really fast that not to do that, and instead I slowly, incrementally, and I've always done that since I got my hand burnt big time to slowly increase the amount that you spend.
So let's get kind of statistical on this. Let's say you have an ad set running at $50 a day and it's performing really well, and you're like, cool, I want to increase this. The wrong way to do it is to turn that into 500 or to turn that into 200
That's exactly what I do.
because Facebook's just going to take your money. And again, we don't ask why, that's just the way it works. So what are you comfortable increasing that to?
So in that scenario, I would only be doing it for $5-10 a day.
Okay, so 10 to
Maximum.
20% per increment,
Yep.
and then
But I do that
Moderate for
per
a day.
day. I do
Got
that
it.
per day. So maybe $5 to $10 per day. Check back the next day. Is it okay? Yeah. Ooh, well,
And when you say is it okay, you're looking at the cost
Cost
per
per
acquisition, cost per
cost per
customer.
conversion.
Has that moved? Has it changed? No. Up a little more. Has that changed? So do you keep going until your cost per jump, and then you're like, oh my god, no, stop.
and I also look at what the total audience size is. Like if that audience size is not that great, like if you're targeting quite a specific group and you know that you're going to start serving ads to people multiple times, then I know that I can only get to a certain point of ad spend before you start annoying people.
Yeah. Yep.
So I always, it's another wee quick tip for you, mate, always have that frequency column
Yep.
showing. So I try not to show any more than, two to three times.
And that means he doesn't want his same ad to show to the same person more than two and a half, 3 times is kind of like no go. We would grow the audience at that point, slow things down at that point, or find a way to get that frequency back down, because you don't want to annoy people by any means. Like
totally.
the moment we start annoying people, you're actually damaging your brand.
Totally. Totally.
Any other little tidbits or?
Yeah, mate, you've sucked me dry.
Nice. All right. Well, one more thing. I want to talk like a bigger picture.
You can edit that.
No editing in this channel at all. It happened. We got a live audience back here. Our wives are cracking up right now. So last thing is, I want to talk about your business in general. Where were you when you started these ads, and where are you now? Like, how's the growth of your business? Is it more exciting? Are you doing significantly more revenue, incrementally more revenue? Like, how would you describe?
Okay. I'm the type of person, right, who struggles to spend money on anything. Like I'm really like pretty tight with my money, right?
Cheap ass, tightwad. What do they call it in New Zealand?
if you want to say that. But when it comes to Facebook advertising, if I can get it right, I'm the complete opposite. I want to try and spend as much money as I can. So I started out maybe when we first did those launches, we were spending maybe, only $50 a day.
Gotcha.
But now we're getting up to spending 400, 500 plus.
And if you could
per
spend
day.
$1,000 a day with the same numbers, you'd be throwing $1,000 bills at it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, it's just finding, like you said, that cost per conversion, and Facebook advertising. I mean, is awesome way to scale your business, you know.
Yeah.
And so now I'm starting to use the advertising as lead gen to get people into our email sequence first, and build that relationship with them. So then later on, when we do come to do the launch, these people already know about us.
Right. They already know, like, and trust you, so the likelihood of them purchasing goes up significantly. So are you running those kinds of campaigns in between your launches now? Is that kind of the plan?
Absolutely.
Right. So keep the ad spending. So you're not doing 3 weeks of ad spend, nothing for 2 months, 3 weeks of ad spend. You're kind of having more of an evergreen spend.
Totally.
I mean, we're living in a golden age right now of marketing. Like, I do believe that this is going to be looked back upon as kind of one of those periods in time that was like, oh, do you remember the good old days on Facebook? Boy, blah, 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 right? So, like, it's challenging. Like, it's challenging, right? Like, it didn't come easy, but
it's worth the effort to figure it out and understand it. And there's no better person than you, because you know your business best, you know your messaging best, you know your audience the best.
Right.
There's no better person to be writing those ads.
Right, and you learn a lot too about your audience, right? Like what words and phrases trigger them to take action, and like the psychology, and every time you get better. You know, really, like, if you think about this, so you've done 3 launches with the same ad sets now, right?
Yep.
More or less, some small tweaks.
Yep.
So what he set up 3 launches ago, he's using that same thing. So when he goes into his launch cycle and it's time to turn on the machine's built. It's in there. Do you just clone everything out and start a fresh one with a new name so you know which one it is? Literally, clones it out, boom, boom, boom. Probably starts with a little bit bigger budget than you did last time, something that makes you nervous. And he goes back through the process from day one. He's not creating new ad sets every time. He's not creating new ads every time. It's literally, it's right there, built. He turns it on, runs it. You're getting better results with similar efforts, less effort, and you're getting more sales.
Yep, totally. And I always look back to see what worked well in the last campaign to get that mindset, you know, of knowing what worked last time to make sure I'm going to be doing that.
And when you look back, are you looking back in like a spreadsheet, or are you like, do you write notes to yourself? You got like Post-it notes, you got a journal? How is that?
So, I mean, the easiest way is you could just look back at your campaign in
the Facebook
advertising.
Gotcha.
Your campaign. So I do that, but then I also, after end of each launch, I write some notes in my Evernote to say what worked well, like certain phrases or certain videos, or interesting things, like, for example, an interest ad set that didn't work previously in 2 launches ago, but last launch it did. I'd write that down saying, hey, remember not to assume anything.
Yeah.
So just having that info there to look back over is always helpful.
It's really smart. Being organized, taking the notes, leaving yourself a little note so when you kind of go back to it, you remember where you are, pick up where you left off, turn the machine on, put a bunch of money in it, and giggle and smile and watch the sales roll in, right?
But you
Cool.
go for it with that Facebook advertising, because like you just said before, like even now, like I'm starting to get nervous that, you know, how are we making the most of this opportunity, because right now it's working really well for us, and how long is it going to last? You know?
And we'll write it out as long as we can. That's why I'm collecting leads, man. I'm just like building the email list, because that's a lifetime asset. That takes them from being just a Facebook user who might know us to like someone we can have the right to market to based on the canned spam and all that stuff, and get them onto our list and then indoctrinate them. And it's going to be fun to track your process, mate.
Awesome, man.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Ben. I really appreciate you coming on to share. I think it's been an incredibly helpful conversation. If you're interested, he's Billy Elusive on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Where
casually
can they find you?
Billy Elusive. If you're into your baking, if you're into building, Billy the Builder, or if you're into
hashtag Billy the Baker. He makes some mean sourdough.
bit of kombucha, if you're into your kombucha. Good recipe on that.
Awesome. So Ben's a mastermind partner of ours. His wife Nicola, my wife Melanie, we're all here masterminding. We just thought, you know what, these ideas are too good to keep behind closed doors, which is why we wanted to share them with you today. I thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you found this valuable. If you have, give us a thumbs up here on YouTube, and click the subscribe button if you have not already, so you can get the next video as they come out, because I got some more cool stuff coming down the pipeline for you. Thanks again for your time. See you on the next video.
Oh.